Thanks everyone, my name is Andrea and I'm an organizer with the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm a parent, community member, and I stand firmly with teachers, staff, and community members to not prematurely reopen in-person school, at least until it's safe. Recently, Dr. Fauci, the leading health expert of infectious disease, sat down with the governor this week to discuss the benefits of in-person learning. Dr. Fauci begins with the main reasons for reopening are the long-term effects of students being out of school, that many families depend on school lunch programs, and the disruption of a parent's work schedule if students are kept at home. This needs to be addressed. For one, those are shortcomings of the country's capitalist system and the government of Rhode Island. The state of Rhode Island not being able to adequately provide sustenance for its people, affordable food, or access to fresh produce, it's a false equivalency to insinuate free school lunches is the solution. How long does it take to get approval for food assistance in Rhode Island? Before COVID even, and was it ever even enough to begin with? Secondly, the long-term effects of students being out of school is isolating. Capitalism is isolating. This individual approach to this crisis makes no sense. If anything, this pandemic has really shown us that we are all interconnected. We must take an approach that centers the public and not just getting the economy going or what is practical. Rhode Island is too damn small to have different plans. The isolation is horrible. Each family is isolated on their own and is being forced to figure out rent, food, energy, water, basic human necessities by themselves in hope to survive. Putting the interests of big money and rich politicians over the public is called capitalism, and that is the source of all alienation. This is what is isolating. We have tools to reduce isolation. We live in a global community whereby a touch of a button, a Zoom meeting, a Google Classroom, we can plan and allocate resources for virtual social gatherings for our students. But I will say one thing, I don't feel isolated anymore because I'm here with you all, fighting for our lives together. We are the answer to the crisis. The people around you, the everyday people, the workers from teachers to janitors are the one who should be making these decisions. We feel alienated and isolated because working people don't have the power to make these big decisions that affect our lives. If this was a democracy, we wouldn't have to beg to not be thrown back into school or risk our lives. If this was a democracy, we could decide for ourselves what is the plan for protecting our grandparents who are at high risk and can't play with their grandchildren. If this was a democracy, teachers and students could work together as a united and organized force to defend the common good. Lastly, I want to talk about interrupted work schedules. Please, the state is pitting parents and teachers against one another. That is the way they keep us weak, by dividing up the community and giving privileges to some and oppression for others. But we see that now, and that can't work. We are all in the same boat now. People who could have lived died unnecessarily. There are people who will die because of school reopenings, and it doesn't have to be like that. This capitalist system is putting the economy, profit over lives. And I don't say that to be dramatic. Teachers will die, children will die, people will get sick if we were to open to in-person school. The governor, and let's be real about her interests, Gina is using in-person school as a glorified daycare service. They want teachers to risk our lives and put our children at risk so we, the workers, can go back to filling the pockets of our bosses. Filling Gina's pockets too. Did y'all know her net worth is $300 million? Which she earned from her political career, off of us, off of her political decisions and policies. Was there any mention during this interview of the additional plus 100 cases and deaths from just the last couple of weeks? There have been almost 20,000 confirmed COVID cases in Rhode Island since March, and the state's death toll is at 1,011 according to the Rhode Island Department of Health. So how much longer will the governor, education commissioner, ignore parents, teachers, and the community to keep us safe? How are they going to endanger our lives without having a community process? Without the input of a single teacher? When will the National Director of Infectious Disease prioritize public safety over the economy? How is it that when we are asked to socially distance 6 feet, but in schools without proper ventilation, they want our kids to distance only 3 feet? How are we going to have windows open at all times? Every classroom does not have windows. How can I trust a state that has divested and defunded the education system? How can I trust them when every school year, teachers and parents are paying out of their own pocket for tissues, Lysol wipes, and hand soap? Now they're telling us to trust that they will have a handle on it and actually allocate resources properly, that teachers and staff will have ample amounts of PPE. Trust is hard to build back, but after it's been lost, I have no reason to trust they will plan for our community like it was their own family, their own children being used as guinea pigs and sacrificial lambs. Just think about it. How will we have outdoor classrooms and unpredictable New England weather? We, the working class people, from teachers to bus drivers and lunch ladies, could come up with a better plan. Most infuriating throughout the entire interview, Dr. Fauci keeps calling Rhode Island a green state. The governor intentionally, right, doesn't correct him until the very end. She doesn't have to worry about the repercussions of reopening schools. She doesn't have to worry about health coverage if she or her family gets COVID. She doesn't even have to worry about asymptomatic people passing the virus along. Her damn office is still closed. So what do we need to do? We need to stop identifying with these rich politicians and corporations. We need to educate ourselves about each other and learn how to struggle to win. We need to trust each other and protect ourselves. That's real democracy. That's people's power. We need to make political demands based on people in power for people in power, and if they don't want to do what is needed to save lives, we have to take measures into our own hands. Workers in this whole city and state should go on strike indefinitely until we win. And winning doesn't just mean delaying the reopenings of schools. It means winning our humanity back. It means winning the battle of democracy. It means giving power to the people so we don't have to beg we don't have to beg to people who couldn't give a damn about us when we were alive. But we'll cry crocodile tears when we die and just add it to the deaths to the tally of victims of COVID-19. We have no other option but to continue to turn out to the streets. We must continue to support our teachers, mobilize and organize and demand to keep students, school workers, and our entire community safe. We have to educate the people because we are tired of the misinformation and lies being shoved down our throats. If you aren't in an organization, join one. I joined the Socialist Party, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, because the capitalists don't outnumber us, they out-organize us. The Democrats aren't organizing from the bottom up. All they do is make promises they can't keep and expect us to keep voting for them because we are told Republicans are worse. Both parties are worse. So what else do we need to do? We will continue to organize, continue to build a revolutionary movement that's powerful enough to take down this whole rotten system and build a new one. A socialist system based on people's needs, because when we fight, we win.